So, as you guys requested, I will film a short video about Chernobog and share with you magical chant for calling him. To be honest, this is just the beginning of one much bigger project about Chernobog, which will probably end as a really long video about him. But since you guys requested and Chernobog 2 agreed, I will indeed film a video about this spirit. And let's start. So, to be honest, what you will hear from me about Chernobog is really different from what you will hear from other practitioners. And because most information you hear about Chernobog today in the cult community comes from one man, Samus Dreadwood. He channeled system he calls Majaraya tradition, and he claims that Majaraya tradition system is somehow related to traditional Slavic understanding of spirits within that system. And he claims his system has ties and connections to traditional understanding of spirits within Romania and South Slavic lands, which is completely inaccurate. His system is definitely his own channeled gnosis, and his observation of Chernobog do not reflect observation of Chernobog presented in folklore of South Slavic lands, which is preserved to this day. And there is also another group of people spreading misinformation about Chernobog, and that another group of people spreading misinformation about Chernobog are modern Russian Rodnoviers who are slandering this deity left and right, without any consideration for facts, folklore, or common sense. If you really study and practice Slavic sorcery, you know that there are no good and evil deities. Deities are manifestation of natural forces, and they are morally and energetically ambivalent. Perun is the god of the sky. He is the god of justice and heavens, but he can also kill you in his wrath, without any remorse. Chernobog is god of the deepest darkness, indeed, but he can also protect you and heal you, like a good friend. So Chernobog literally means the black god, and the black isn't evil, and the white isn't good. There is no dualism in traditional Slavic sorcery. There are no good and evil spirits. Some people tend to claim there is dualism within Slavic tradition, but in practice, dualism within Slavic tradition do not exist. Dualism within Slavic tradition is purely a scholarly construct created by academics in the 19th century. Slavic tradition was not dualistic. I can show you a lot of evidence for it, but this is not a scholarly video. And the reason why I am saying this is I wanna explain to you that Chernobog is not evil. Chernobog is the god of difficulty. Difficulty can be good for you, difficulty can be bad for you. He is the god of winter and adversity, but he is also the god of protection and hidden knowledge. He destroys one families and empower other families. He destroys his enemies and empowers his allies. Now, traditional Serbian understanding of Chernobog is kinda different from his depiction in Majaraya tradition. So, Chernobog is the only deity within the Slavic lore who entered Christianity without significantly changing his form. Chernobog within Slavic lore is also known as the devil. There are multiple spirits known as the devil within Slavic tradition. Chernobog is the most often referred as the devil, and when Slavs, especially in Serbia, Montenegro, Slovenia, say the devil, they mostly refer to Chernobog. Concept of Satan never entered Slavic lands, honestly. When somebody in countryside speaks about the devil, it's Chernobog. When somebody in church speaks about the devil, it's probably Satan. And those two devils are really different. So, Chernobog is Slavic national devil. Satan is Abrahamic construct. And because Chernobog comes from pre-Christian polytheistic tradition, many of his aspects of his personality are not in line with Abrahamic concepts of good and evil. So, I will tell you a few legends about Chernobog. One is Russian legend, one is Serbian saying, and one is my family tradition. So, another Russian legend is that one woman got seriously ill. And woman prayed to God, and God didn't come. And then woman prayed to devil, aka Chort, aka Chernobog. And Chernobog came and healed the woman. And he didn't even ask anything in return. He just left. Another Serbian saying is that devil is not black, as it seems. What it means? In Serbian lore, black is associated mostly with destruction, and white is associated mostly with creation. So, to blacken your face means to destroy reputation of your family. So when it is said that devil isn't black as it seems he is, it literally says that Chernobog, aka Chort, aka the devil, isn't necessarily only destructive force. And also the depiction of Chernobog within Serbian lore is much different than his depiction in modern Radnoveri or Majoraya tradition. Within Serbian lore, he is depicted as a black, lame, demonic figure with a lot of gold and key in his hand. He always holds his word, always respects his deals, but asks exactly what you promised in return. Sometimes he will ask you to be his devotee, sometimes he will ask you to perform certain rites, sometimes he will ask you to perform certain sacrifices, and sometimes he won't ask anything in return. You will just catch him in the good mood and he will do what is asked of him. So, he creates misfortune, but he is also able to bring upon his devotees extreme protection. And that's the reason why, despite of Christian nonsense, Chernobog had the active cult within South Slavic lands until the beginning of 20th century. But I think in eastern Serbia there are still a lot of traditional practitioners of Wallachian and Serbian sorcery who work with him. Now, if you ask people, do they work with devil, aka Chort, aka Chernobog, of course they will deny. But when you actually go to the place and when you actually ask the honest practitioners, you will find out that his sorcery and worship are extremely widespread. I am talking about modern South Slavic lands. I am not talking about distant pasts or some kind of academic guess. So, I will present to you here in this video a magical chant to call Chernobog in his traditional Slavic, aka Serbian aspect. And the chant is Chernobog, Chort, Chert ishodi, Chernobog, Chort, Chert ishodi, Chernobog, Chort, Chert ishodi. By the way, the practical uses of Chernobog are protection, alchemical transformation, spiritual knowledge, wealth, revealing of the hidden mysteries, and many other. I talk about mostly the lame devil aspect of Chernobog here, but there are also the snake aspect, the monster aspect, and the warrior aspect I am familiar with. Those are 4 aspects of him I am familiar with. But there are probably many more, because Chernobog is known to be, let's say, pretty adaptable deity, to say the least. So you cannot put Chernobog in any box or explain him in a few sentences. I made this video as fulfillment of my promise to the deity, but also to dispel many misconceptions propagated about him by Majoryan Cabal, Slavic Rodnovirs, or Slavic modern Rodnovirs, by the way, who have nothing to do with actual sorcerer's Slavic tradition, and it's easy to prove that. And some of misconceptions are also spread by people who work with him in order to keep uninitiated out. By the way, I described Chernobog here in extremely positive light, because I wanted to highlight his positive aspects here, but it doesn't mean he isn't dangerous, so be careful and respectful. But he won't put you through extreme trials you cannot handle or shit like that, like Majoryan Cabal claims. And he definitely won't try to discipline you ridiculously immediately when you start working with him. If you approach him without fear, he is actually extremely friendly to people, especially in the aspect I work with the most. So, thank you for your time, guys, and keep in mind that Chernobog is kinda good friend of yours if you approach him correctly. The devil is your friend. And thank you for your time. Use the chant. By the way, when you use the chant, don't forget to raise sacred space beforehand. And raising of the sacred space will make sure you don't attract any imposters. That's fundamental if you want to perform first evocation of divinity exponentially well without attracting imposters. So, thank you for your time. And let me pronounce, aka read the chant again, for the informative purposes. Let me find it. Wait. Oh, fuck. Ciorte, certe, diavole, iscodi. Ciorte, certe, diavole, iscodi. Ciorte, certe, diavole, iscodi. Ciorte, certe, diavole, iscodi. This is Serbian phrase, and people who speak Serbian will probably understand what it means. This is a little bit archaic phrase, so yeah, thank you for watching and see you next time. And remember, devil is your friend.